make sure.
Mhm.
So for the record, I'm going to record and we'll see what we do with it. Like if it's at the end and we're just like, all right, this doesn't need to be like public information. We don't have to do anything like that.
That's fine.
Okay. So is everyone good? Are you guys good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I don't even know how to start. I'm trying to think. Hmm. Do you want to start it, Polly? Because like, it's up to you. I don't know where to
Sure.
start.
Okay. So, um, you know, like I obviously don't want to look like I'm ducking you. I said stuff about you in public, and you know, I felt like you wanted to respond to that. So, you know, I'm certainly willing to sit down with you and go over the things that I said and anything that you want me to follow up on or any questions you have about that. And I just want you to, I want to let you know that I don't hold any ill will towards you and I'm not your enemy. And, but having said that, I can certainly understand if I made you feel differently, that, you know, if it felt like an attack. And while I'm not sorry for the things that I said, I'm sorry if any of it made you feel that way. Um, After this is all said and done, I have I will have said my piece, and you know I hope we can go forward after this. But you know, like I get it, I understand if there's on your part any you know, harbored any bad feelings about the whole situation. I get it.
Oh, well, I hear your guys' side and stuff to, this, and I don't know. I'm totally fine with listening to people's opposing opinions and stuff like that. I'm not upset with you. Um I was more upset with other people. I totally get why you said what you said. I mean, we're both fog whisperers. I never really associated my morality with deranking. Like, I've never really thought of it because I don't do it with the intentions of hurting other people. So, and that's why the majority does it. The majority does it to bully people, and I don't do that, and I can't get behind that. The fact that I'm doing it is still pretty bad because you have, okay, so I have a pretty large audience. So when someone or when people see me deranking, and I haven't really thought about this, that's just me being stupid. But I'd been doing this for a while, and like I've been doing it like most of 2018. Not
Okay,
all of
yeah, that
2018,
was a
but most of
question that I
2018.
had because you know, when I started researching this topic, I didn't even know that this was a subject at all. But I had seen like a post on the forums that said in November that they were going to open up, as you know, another 50 spots for fog whisperers, and somebody had made a snide remark saying, "Well, make sure that you're depipping for easier games like the last batch of fog whisperers, so that you can get accepted too." Was basically, you know, the meaning behind their comment. So I was like, wow, this is something that has existed for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think that might be a direct shot at me. I don't really want to name other names or anything like that, but I'm not the only fog whisperer to do it. I did feel like it was a little weird that I was the only one mentioned. I just think like throughout this whole thing, it's been very strange that I'm the only one that's been mentioned,
Well,
and it's not exactly secret that other people have done it. So that's where I was upset. That's where my head was like when you guys were talking and stuff.
well, I mean,
And
like we all know
Mm.
it, you know, originated with the uh, the Reddit post, right? So,
yeah.
um, and obviously that probably is somebody who does have an agenda against you. It's not, you know, it's not one of your fans who's doing this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
absolutely. It is somebody that is actually being toxic in all of our Twitch chats, like my friends and me and stuff like that. Apparently they had said stuff in my chat like snide remarks, but I didn't see it. Other people have seen it, so it's definitely somebody that doesn't like me and my group of friends. Um, I don't know. I want to just when I said that people weren't mentioning other people, I thought it was weird. I was mostly talking about like people on Reddit and stuff.
yeah,
Like it wasn't just you guys.
I mean, I'm not
It's
asking
just
you to
Right.
people
name
in general.
any names, but there's only 10 fog whisperers at this point. Only 6 of us are English speakers, so unless you're talking about somebody overseas, it's you, me, Omrecker, Hybrid Panda, Morph, and Kayla, right? So
Hmm.
Hybrid Panda actually came to me and told me to be a voice for the against deranking side. So I'm pretty sure that he's not one of them. And I can't imagine that Omerker even plays enough to worry about it. So anyway, we're not going to go there. But I just thought.
So
I think
you
that's
said
where my head was at when you guys were talking about it. I'm like, why am I being talked about specifically? And like, I feel like people ignored my reasoning behind it. Although it's not, you don't have to like my reasoning for it. It's still shitty that I'm deranking. And I stopped doing it. But I know I've thought about it a lot in the last week or so. I have a large audience, and even though like I'm doing it for a reason that, well, I'm not doing it to hurt people. I'm gonna have people that watch me that go, hey, she's doing this thing, and they'll do it for a different agenda. Like, hey, this is what I can do to bully people. Like, I'm gonna do what she does. Like, they'll follow what I'm doing, I'm showing people that you can do this. And since I'm somebody that's of
higher
like
status.
in a fog whisperer position, they'll be like, if it's okay for her to do it, then and that's not really something that I thought about, because I don't know, I would spend like a couple hours like, playing with friends and then DCing at the end of games. Like, they would play it out, and like sometimes we'd like gen rush and stuff like that, and I'd just DC at the end or whatever. And I'd spend like maybe like an hour or two almost every day. Sometimes I would do it on stream. Sometimes I would DC at the end of games on stream. If I felt like I didn't like DPIP enough, like the day before, I didn't have time during the day, because I didn't have time every day to do it. So I would do it on stream sometimes. And I don't know. It's just, I felt like because I've seen so many people do it on stream, I just felt like it was a normal thing. And I don't know what their reasoning was really. I think they just really wanted to avoid red ranks. Whatever their reason is, I don't know, sweaty killers, whatever. I think that's a dumb excuse. There's sweaty killers at all ranks. I know I'm trying to avoid a specific type of player. I just don't want to see the same person over and over and over again, which happened on many, many, many occasions. I've streamed so much footage of me just going against the same guy, like queuing into his lobby 11 times in a row. It's just, and I remember going against this knockout trapper 7 times in a row. And that was the point at the beginning of 2018 where I was like, I really don't know what to do. And I have gone against a lot of, I stayed rank 1 for such a long time. Like I didn't derank like really before 2018. There have been times where I just disconnected if I, was about to die or something like that, because I didn't get a lot of points anyway. And it was like right around, rank reset, and I felt like I pipped up too fast. And so I was sitting in lobbies for a really long time because I pipped a lot faster than other people. So I would sit at like, let's say rank 4, and I sat in queue. Like I would actually click join lobby, and it would just like sit there, and I would wait, and I wouldn't get into a lobby, and it was really annoying.
So let me ask you a question. You started today, your stream today, you started rank 1, right?
Yes.
Oh, how was your experience with that today?
So my friend that I was queuing with, he was I can't remember. I think he was rank 10.
Okay.
But even though he was rank 10, we went against I think one time we went against, and he was rank 8 at the time. We went against a rank 10. That was the lowest rank that we went against, and that was when he was rank 8 and I was rank 1. So I guess it just threw us into that lobby. I don't know. And they were like higher ping too. So I think it just randomly threw us into a lobby because it couldn't find someone in our region with like, an in-between rank, like an average.
I was just wondering if you had experienced any of that stuff where you're facing the same person over again like that today.
I think we saw the same person 3 times in a row, and then another person we saw 2 times in a row. We played a couple laggy games. That's another thing. I tend to instantly queue into 200 ping plus lobby. So a couple games we actually just played just because I didn't want to sit in queue, even though it was like really laggy.
The good thing that I've gathered from this is that, like you said, you didn't realize that the whole argument before was you have like an impressionable audience and a large fan base. and deranking can set a bad example. So I'm happy that like you understand it now that other people can do it. A part that I do want to touch about that I was thinking, because deranking can be done for many issues and reasons that everyone has, and there's different ways of doing it. So I know you mentioned you do it uh, in the start of some games or at the end if you feel as if you didn't depip. Um, Now, I want to make a clear distinction because there is a third-party software, which we won't name, that is going around that people can use, and it's undetectable.
People make jokes about it a lot. I know about it.
Right. So if anyone like uses this and they view you as a fog whisperer, and they see like your deranking and they find this as an easier and quicker way of doing it, what do you have to say to them for
Is it
using a
really
third-party
undetected?
application? It is
I'm
undetectable from what
uncertain.
we've heard.
Uncertain.
We're not like 100% sure, but from what we heard, I've seen like videos of it on how people use it, and it's literally you just go in, open the program, and change a couple numbers, and that's it. You know?
That's really fucking shitty. Am I allowed to
Yeah.
curse? I'm sorry.
No, yeah, of course.
Certainly.
You can.
That's
Yeah.
another thing. Well, I don't want to get off topic, but go ahead.
I don't know. I can't. I certainly don't support using any kind of cheats or third party stuff other than MLJ. I like MLJ a lot. I always get behind it. But I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. People make jokes about it, but I don't know if people in my community do it or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, that's just a point I want to bring across because, like I said, some people might do this, and it's not a good example.
They might do it like to avoid the disconnect bans,
Right.
I guess.
Mm-hmm. So
That would make sense.
brings me to one more thing because I've seen the tweets, you know, a lot of beefing going on. This 40% number has been thrown around a lot, like 40% amount of disconnects.
Yeah,
Where
I
does
haven't
that
said it.
root from?
I haven't said the 40%. I never said that in any of the tweets. I know people have said that have argued alongside me. That is not the accurate number. They don't want to give us the accurate number because they don't want people to have an idea of the amount that they can disconnect. 40% is way too high. It's actually not 40%. I'm thinking it's about a quarter of your games.
Okay.
Maybe 30%, something like that.
Yeah, because this number, like, a lot of people throw it around. Even in our podcast, I've heard it. It gets thrown around really easily, and I was thinking, like, after everything, like 40% is such a high number. You know,
it is
like,
a high number. I think that used to be what the number was, and then they since then had raised it because they realized, people had played so much out that even if they're disconnecting a lot, they're still playing games, and it's like they're not DCing like half their games and stuff. They're just DCing like a little less than what the required was.
So nobody's actually given you the number and told you the number.
Nobody has given me the number for what it is right now because they had given me the number before, which was about 40% is what they said.
Okay.
I had told my friends that, and I don't know if I don't think that I was the only person that they told because I don't think my friends went around like squealing it to everybody, I think that the mods told other people who derank because there are other streamers that do it, and because the mods are friends with people, they're friends with other streamers, they're friends with a ton of people, and I think that it just got around.
Okay.
That was the number, but they had since then changed it. I talked to Queen about it at TwitchCon, and because she was with Vorfidus, and they both told me that they didn't want to say what the number was because
Did
if
you
I
ask
have an
them
idea
what the
of
number was? How does that even come up?
I didn't straight up ask them. We were just talking about.
Hey, that whole deranking thing. How much can I get away with?
I talked to her about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a posting that we were untouchable as fog whisperers and we can get away with everything, and she was getting heat for it, so she was ranting to me about that, and she was like, you guys aren't untouchable, you simply just have not reached the threshold for DCs to get banned.
This was recently, or this was before?
This was at TwitchCon.
Oh, really? So okay.
Okay.
So obviously this is something that you've been dealing with for a while, since you said, you've been doing this since 2018. So this probably isn't the first time you even heard about this.
It started a little bit after I got Fog Whisper. That's when it started happening. Before that, no one said.
Okay, so this is how it's just like boiled over as a result of being Fog Whisper. Okay, can you give me a little context with this tweet where you said like that you've been told to chill? Like, can you tell me what that means?
One of my moderator friends messaged me, and they told me that one of my friends was actually very, very close to getting banned because they DC'd so much. And I said that I was worried for getting banned because I DC'd so much. And like by that time, like it probably was like maybe a week and a half until rank reset. And I was like, I've already DC'd so much this month that I don't, but I played a lot too, so I'm not actually sure where I am. And they said, I think that maybe you should chill on it.
Okay, so it's basically like somebody goes in the office and they look at a report of the worst offenders of DCs or something like that, and they happen to notice that one of your friends was pretty close and they gave you the heads up on it. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think they told my friend, and then they messaged me, and they told me, yeah, when I said that, I was worried. They said that maybe you should.
Okay.
Like maybe you shouldn't DC so much.
Okay, because I just wasn't really sure. I was like, what does that even mean? I don't understand how this happened. So we were like, does that mean she's got special treatment? Like she actually went into ban and they said, we're going to look the other way.
Oh, no, I didn't. I've never ever reached the threshold. It would automatically ban me. I mean, if it automatically banned me and I went to them and, they unbanned me, then that would, I think, would be special treatment. But I never even actually got banned, and I've never gotten that dangerous.
Okay. Yeah.
And I do 10 to 12 hour streams. I play so many games out, and I don't know. I don't sleep. I'm actually a person that doesn't really sleep much, and I spend a lot of time on this game. I think I have 6,700 hours or something.
Wow,
that's a lot.
What's your devotion level?
My devotion is devotion 7, and I'm like level 50 something, and I would be devotion 8 plus, but I disconnect.
All that devotion, you cheated yourself out of.
I do want to make one clarification, because I've been seeing this going around too, where a lot of people are saying that it is not a bannable offense for disconnecting. And once again, this has been tossed around so much, and I think it needs some proper clarification. In a developer stream from a couple months ago, the devs actually went over what's permanent, temporary, and not bannable. And permanent, obviously, life threats, hacks, third-party softwares. Temporary, which are 24, 48, and 1-week bans. Under the unsportsmanlike conduct, we have botting, lag switching, and disconnections. And it specifically says, do not report, our system catches them. So just to clear the air, that if you do reach this threshold, it is bannable.
Yeah, I think they actually increased the penalties on that. I think it's a 1-week ban for first offense on disconnects now.
I've actually had a couple of friends that got banned for a week because they disconnected so much.
Right.
So I can confirm it's 1 week.
Okay. Let's see. Where else should we go with this? Anything you'd like to add, Paulie?
I just want to say that, I saw a lot of people throwing the word witch hunt around. And
yeah.
You go ahead.
Personally, I think well, I'm just gonna come out straight with it. I have blocked Tide. I thought that he was being unreasonable about the situation, because I can hear your side of the argument. Like, I didn't really want to hear his side of the argument just because of past stuff. I didn't want to talk to him because I've had past discussions with him. I saw where it led to, and I didn't want to deal with it again.
It went on quite a bit. Like I was tagged in some of those, and I woke up and it was like 173 notifications on one thing, and I was like, "Whoa!"
I'm so sorry.
It did go on, quite a bit, and I think probably enough was said to make points. I mean, I guess probably Tide didn't feel like he had gotten through to you yet, and I think he would probably be very glad to hear
getting
what
through
you have to say right now. So
him getting through to me would be me stating to the public, hey, I'm not going to derank. Deranking is bad. He wants me to, come out and say that and, be like a good role model, And I see where he's coming from, but he's not somebody that, should say that to me. Who is he? He's another broadcaster. He's not someone that works for behavior. He's not an authority figure. He has no right to tell me anything, like that I need to do whatever the fuck. Even if he is right, he kept bothering me about it, and he kept telling me, hey, she needs to do this. Hey, you need to do this. And he told me he wasn't going to stop, so I blocked him.
Understood. So
and I just don't feel like, he's just been very aggressive, and I think that he's the only one that's been so extreme about it. And I don't know, because like I'm totally fine with talking to you about it, and you're against deranking, and I understand why, and I like listening to this stuff, and it makes me realize, I've been doing it made me realize that I'm doing a shitty thing. I didn't really associate that at all with,
yeah, because like essentially you're giving yourself a rank reset every day.
Yes.
Because like, it would take you roughly 2 days to get to rank 1, and you're starting out pretty much at rank 10 every day. So you're basically giving yourself a rank reset from rank 1 to rank 10.
I think I would go up to
yeah, you're ending at 5, right? But
yeah, about 5.
If you hadn't reset at 10, you'd be at 1 the day after that. So like you should be at 1, right? So if you're setting yourself up at rank 10 every day, you're basically giving yourself a rank reset every day. And the deeper we get into the season, the more it exacerbates the situation, because then people who have played deep into the season, who started at 15 and they're just starting to get up at 10 now. Well,
yeah, that's usually around time, because I don't derank every single day for a whole month. There have been times out of every month where I did stay in red ranks. I did stay usually around like an event or something like that, or a blood point event or whatever. I don't derank during those times.
Okay.
I usually just stay at rank 1 because there's a ton of people on, and I get fast queues at rank 1.
Okay.
Right.
So if you put like this, here's the thing. If I got variety in rank 1 and I didn't go against the same people and stuff like that, and I didn't insta-queue into laggy lobbies, if it was like how it was during events, I would stay rank 1 so hard.
Like, I just don't understand why West Coast is so bad. Do you not live in a metropolitan area, or?
Oh, I'm East Coast.
Oh, you're East Coast? I thought you were West
East
Coast.
Yeah. Oh. I'm in Florida.
Oh my.
Oh.
I thought this was a West Coast issue.
We thought this was West Coast because you told me 7 p.m. and I spoke to Polly, and Polly was like, she's 3 hours behind.
I'm like, that's 10 p.m.
So we waited till 10.
We could have done this so much earlier, King. We shot ourselves in the foot.
It's past my bedtime. No, I'm kidding. I do want to make another distinction because I feel like, for us at least, I only can speak on us because I can't speak on everybody, but it's in no way or shape like a personal attack towards you. And I get how you feel where everyone's only mentioning your name. But like I said, in all honesty, this is where I've heard it from. And like, I've heard from people that you were the person that started. That's just what I heard. And obviously you didn't start
deranking in general.
Well, yeah, in general. But now, like,
that
it's true. Yeah,
I mean, because I've seen other people do it. That's where I got the idea.
That's where I heard like most of the traction coming from. You know, like as recently, because deranking, like we all know, we've played the game since forever, has been along there for a long, long time. You know,
I'm so naive. I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah, that's been a thing since 2016.
People had to tell me how to find the disconnect button. Like last year, I was like, "How do I do it?" And they had to tell me. They had to walk me through it. I didn't even know how to do it.
So,
Paulie, you are so wholesome. I always thought
that. But yeah, so yeah, just for clarification, for at least Paulie and I, it's in no way or shape like a personal attack, and I want to make this message clear to everyone as well. Like, for the community, this isn't a personal attack. Don't go around fighting each other over this. Because,
yeah, I think it's time for the community to start holding hands.
It's time to mend a little bit, you know. Because I've been on Twitter and I see all of these from everybody, you know, not gonna put names out there, but I see these tweets and it's gruesome. It's difficult. And
all the memes
I,
for it and everything, like it's equating it with murder and all these things. It's just like beyond ridiculous.
but like
I'd
I
be a
said,
liar if I didn't say I laughed at a couple of memes in the past couple days. That's the kind of person I am. If I'm like,
yeah.
if I see like if everything's on fire, I try to take humor in something. Like if
Right.
I'm in a problem, or if I see a problem or whatever, I try to find humor in it.
And I
Mm-hmm.
just want to say regarding the whole witch hunt aspect, it was like, well, Tofu had his podcast, and then you put yourself out there to state your opinion on it in a public forum. And so then we had a podcast to respond to that position with a differing opinion in the same way in a public forum. And like, in my mind, that's not a witch hunt, that's a rebuttal.
Yeah.
The whole like or witch hunt thing, I didn't feel like it was like that on the podcast. A lot of people did. A lot of people messaged me saying, "Oh my God, they're just bashing you." I got a number of messages saying, "Oh my God, they're just bashing you," and I had listened to many clips and stuff like that. I didn't feel like you were bashing me. I felt like you were heated that but I also knew that you didn't understand. You never talked to me and stuff like that. So I was willing to talk to you about it. I wasn't angry at you. I was
Right.
angry at some other parties just because, I
Mm-hmm.
felt like it was being too extreme, I guess. And then they decided to take it to Twitter and stuff. And that's where I felt like, hey, if you're not going to leave me alone about it and you're going to continue talking about it, because we can't do anything right now because behavior it's the weekend. They're not working.
Right.
I get to talk to behavior.
Right.
I'm talking to Not Queen on Monday actually about this whole thing. I'm going to have a meeting with
Mm-hmm.
her, and other fog whisperers that are also guilty of deranking are going to talk to her too. And I know that there's not going to be a gray area with it. I know exactly what's going to happen. She's going to tell me to stop doing it, or she's going to tell me, like, if you want to keep doing it, you can't be a fog whisperer anymore. I know exactly what she's going to say. She can't tell me, hey, it's okay. She can't, even though she's my friend, she needs to, be in like, company mode. Like, she needs to tell
Right.
me, because I am a fog whisperer. And you're absolutely right. I should have been thinking about that stuff. I hadn't been, and that was wrong with me.
Yeah.
And
And that
I am
I had
sorry.
other people who came at me and said, "You're trying to tell her how to stream," and I'm like, "No, I'm not." Like,
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
your play style is your play style. I don't take issue with any perks that you run, any way that you play the game, any way that you talk to killers on your stream, the way that you comment and post game chat. That's all your business. Like, your life journey is your life journey. My life journey is my life journey. I'm going to stream the way I want. You're going to stream the way you want. You've obviously been very successful with it. And, I wouldn't expect you to change anything unless you wanted to. The only issue that I took was with the rule. That was it. I'm not trying to tell you how to do anything in your life. And
I didn't take it like that too, and I think that's what happens when you involve like the vast majority of the community in these talks,
Right.
is that a lot of them get defensive over the streamer that you're talking about, and then they'll just start to babble things like that. I never took it as you attacking me as a
Yeah,
streamer.
that's a good clarification because, like I said, I've seen a lot of people speak on like your behalf or our behalf, and it's not what we're trying to say. It's in no way or shape or form like that. And I've read some comments, I've seen tweets from specific people where it's just like they're saying this or they're saying that. A big thing was about the whole moral aspect of things and the whole good behavior kind of thing. That's like something else that was out of context. Like Paulie said, we're not telling you how to play the game. It only comes in where it's up to our attention when it's like going against the ULAN rules. So that's
Mhm.
where it kind of is. So it's like, once again, rooting back to the whole thing, it's not like a witch hunt. It's not a personal attack or anything
yeah,
like
the
that. And I'm
whole
glad.
The only time where I felt like it was like getting to a point where where it was getting to that point was when Tide just kept tweeting at me and saying he wasn't going to leave it alone and that he was going to continue talking about it and blah, blah, blah. And like, you're not gaining anything from that. You've said your piece. I listened to you. We can't do anything about it right now. All I can do is sit at rank 1 and, I'm not going to, publicly say anything. I'm going to talk to Queen first. And then I will say
Right.
something after that. Until
Understood.
then, don't talk to me anymore. I told him to leave me alone. And he said, very childishly, don't tell me what to do, Jen. And I'm just like, okay. Because I told him not to tell me what to do pretty much in different words. I said that he's not an authority figure. He's not a person for behavior. So he has absolutely no right to tell me, hey, you need to stop it. Like, he can tell me he thinks that I need to stop it. He can tell me his opinion, and I'm glad I listen to it. And that's more than I owe him. Like, I don't owe him anything. That's more than I should have done, I think.
Yeah.
But I listened to him, and I don't know. I responded, and then he said that he was going to keep doing it. I ended up blocking him, and I don't know. That's the only witch hunty kind of vibe that I got, I guess, was that he said that he was going to continue talking to it about it and continue like telling me these things, and I'm just like, all you're doing is like getting people like rallied up, I guess, because I was getting messages from his fans and stuff calling me a bad person.
I could see that it really turned into an allegiances, a circling of the wagons for people on sides. And one thing that really irked King and I is like, King started this podcast series and Tofu said, okay, I think I want to do a podcast about this whole deranking thing, and we were like, cool. And then we weren't invited, and then it seemed like the group that you had was very insular, as it was people who were going to insulate you, like it was people who you host or you're close to or they mod for you.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a varying amount of opinions. And then when we put ours together, we may have similarly had a bunch of people who were against deranking, but they aren't like our buddies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, we haven't
like King and I are buddies, and everybody else, like, we're lucky if we played like one game with anybody else who was on the podcast.
That I will agree on.
So it was just,
I think with Tofu's podcast, it would have actually been super nice to have, especially you, Paulie, there to talk about this, because the thing is, there are people that were angry with me because I didn't speak much and I didn't argue with Hexy, but I'm like, I can't argue with somebody if I agree with them. Deranking in general is shitty. I agree with that. Like, I can't sit there and argue with that. I can't argue that, what I'm doing is not like an overall shitty thing. I hadn't thought about it before. I didn't realize what I was doing was so, effective and stuff like that, because I think it's like, I don't really, I don't always think about the impact I have on people, because sometimes I forget that I have an influence over a community and stuff like that. I sometimes don't feel like a bigger streamer. I still feel like a small streamer. I don't know. Yeah. Sometimes I don't like remember that I've, been so successful and stuff, and have, gotten so many viewers. I actually don't look at my viewer count and stuff, and I don't know, I guess I just sort of forget that I've been, doing this thing and so many people have been watching.
Mm-hmm. So that's what like Paulie was saying. Tofu did his podcast, and when looking from the outside, like what got me just a little bit upset was when we did our podcast, as we said, we don't know any of these guys like on a personal level. We haven't spoken to them much. I literally like Bricky and like Geef. I've spoken to like Bricky never. Geef like once or twice. He rated me once. Monto, Paulie, and I never like formally spoke to him. And the thing that irked me was with Tofu's podcast, like you said, it was more like a group of friends, and Hexy was there. I watched it. And then with ours, we got criticism for having a quote unquote circle jerk, but not only did we like invite people, which, obviously now glad you didn't come, but we invited opposition. Oh no, that's okay. Yeah, we invited other people to come in. Everyone respectfully declined. So we were just trying to counteract the argument that was put forth. We actually didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't want the party line to be what you guys said on your podcast, because we're seeing the dev stream say, we got a lot of feedback from that podcast, and we've kicked it up to the team, and we're like, well, what does that mean? Does that mean that the behavior thinks everybody should just be cool with deranking? And we're like, we want it the other side heard. And so I feel like, I'm if you see something, say something kind of a person. It's in my DNA. That's just the way that I'm built, and I just had to say something. And King and I said we got to get a rebuttal together. I
We're
said even
very
if it's just the
similar in
two
that
of
regard.
us. So, and I
Mhm.
feel like the mission has been accomplished. Both sides have had a say now, and it's up to behavior to chew on
Right.
everything that we said, both good and bad about this issue, and to take whatever the course of action that people have identified as the problems and the solutions to this matter. And I think, at the end of the day, we all just want the game to be the best it can be. But what seems to always happen is the sticking point that what does that mean and how do we get there? And that's the thing that we can't seem to be able to agree on.
Right. Right. Um, I forgot. I lost my train of thought.
I just
Oh, yes.
I don't like the whole mentality that it's because he told me that it starts and ends with me. It didn't start with me. People had been doing it long before me. So, he says these like false statements like that, and it's not going to end with me either. If I stop doing it because, I did it for a different reason, people are going to keep doing it because
Of
it's
course, but
been done before me.
it has to start with you. It has to start with me. It has to start with King. Like if you have to be the change that you want to see in the world, and it starts with one person. And if you just make that stand and you say that you're not going to condone it or put up with it, and then other people, similarly feel like, yeah,
I hope so. I really do. I mean, if I say that, and I just feel like it's not going to change because people do it for different. People want to
Right.
do it to go against lower skilled killers. People want to do it for easier games. That's what they did before I started doing it, and that's what they'll continue to do. I don't think I can.
well, you may
So,
very well be right that even if it is just a gesture for you to stop, I think it's an important one.
hmm
You're right.
uh, what I'm glad is we got together and we spoke about this and we agreed that there's a bigger issue and deranking is a solution to that bigger issue. Now, obviously, you did your podcast, but just to reinstate, do you have any solid solutions to fixing these deranking things? Obviously, it's not in our hands. We're not the devs. We don't make these solutions, but it's nice to ponder around ideas. Is there anything in your mind that the developers can look into or think about when it comes to
I've
fixing this
talked to
big issue?
behavior about this before. I've told them, that I'm tired of the matchmaking being so messed up. I don't know if it's like something mechanically wrong with the game that just puts me against the same person over and over again. Because then I look and there's like over 10,000 people online, and I'm like, how many
Hmm.
it can't be that a big chunk of this isn't in my region. I refuse to believe that me and this guy and like the three survivors that we keep getting the three other survivors that we keep getting in this lobby are the only people on. I refuse to believe that.
I wonder if the
I don't know.
reworking of the matchmaking would change any of that.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's another thing. I talked to a mod yesterday, um, and they told me that it takes a lot to fix matchmaking. That it's going to take too much work. So I'm probably just going to have to bite the bullet on it. Like they would have to put in a lot of work to fix them.
But they have this. King, you know more about this than I do. You did a video about it, about they're going to put people in batches now.
Right. Yeah. They spoke in the developer stream about the new matchmaking that they're gonna have where a killer is in like a pre-made lobby and they're gonna have a certain wait time, like 30 seconds maybe to a minute.
Mhm.
And then they're gonna put offline survivors together. And once they find a host for that, a killer that is closest to everyone's region, they'll force them all into a game together. And that way, one, you can detect if they're survive with friends. Two, ping should be extremely good and load times should be a little bit better. It's similar to the AAA titles in like Rainbow Six Siege, where you wait 30 seconds. It's like matchmaking in, and then it counts down approximate time. So
Now, is
they
this
spoke
something that's
about
going to
that.
happen when dedicated servers come out, or
Well,
is it
apparently
something?
they tested it already on a low scale. They said a certain percentage of the game population was going to test the new matchmaking, and they would increase the percentage if it worked out, but they
Okay,
had
so
Right.
to
that's
go
something already
back
in
and
place.
scrap it. Yeah, but it
Oh,
didn't work
really?
out the way they wanted, and they had to take it out. From that's my
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah. They said they did it in the not the last PTB, but the PTB before that, and it just didn't work the way they wanted to, so they scrapped the idea, which sucks because now we have an issue like this on the table, and that's something that would fix it solid. So another thing, we talked about dedicated servers. Do you think dedicated servers will fix like all of this? Like, would that be a good
I
change
can
that
be
can help?
hopeful.
Right, right.
I don't know. I hope it does.
I hope so too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But
Let me ask you this: do you guys think that there is a big difference with skill level with ranks 1? Because a lot of people are very black and white with it. They say rank 1, if you get there, you're good and you deserve to be there. Of course, to me, there's a lot of factors that go into it: the add-ons that people use and perks that people use, their whatever playstyles or whatever that they use to win. There's a lot of variables in that. Do you think that a rank 8 player could be better than a rank 1 player?
Let's see. I think that a rank 8 could definitely be better than a rank 1 because, like you said, it depends on many variables. Uh, if they weren't playing for the same amount of time, hours, skill, you know, for me, the way I say it is that rank 1 isn't the same as it used to be anymore. I used
Yes.
to remember going into rank 1 and it used to be extremely, extremely difficult. But now I see like softer survivors and softer killers. However, that doesn't mean that rank 1 still isn't impossible to achieve, and like how do I say this? It's not like this thing where it means anyone can get to rank 1, because I hear that as well. Anyone can get to rank 1. It's just a matter of time. And I don't think that's true, because when the rank resets happen, you see these rank 10s that are actually rank 10s, you know? That's why games
Mhm.
are so much easier. So yes, there is a possibility for like a rank 8 to be better than a rank 1, but I still think like rank 1 still has a little bit of meaning to it. What do you think, Paulie?
Well, you know me, I get carried to rank 1 every month, so
Yeah.
I'm definitely not as good a player as Jen.
When I went
Mhm.
against a bunch of rank 1 killers yesterday, some of them were rank 2, I felt like it was no different than a day I deranked. I didn't feel like it was more difficult. I didn't feel like the killers were smarter. I didn't feel like that they had better mind games. I actually had an easier time for some reason.
Mhm.
I felt like I was going against rank 10.
That's interesting. But yeah, I think
A
that
lot of them got spun a bunch. A lot of them fell for like window fakes. A lot of them played structures very poorly and ended up catching me with bloodlust because they played the structures so poorly. Things like that. And it's a joke, I guess, in my chat that the higher up I go, the worse it gets. And it's always been. But
mhm.
there's people that are so dead set on rank 1 is the best of the best. I know that other streamers say that, and other streamers, and I think that maybe a lot of that, this whole deranking thing, comes down to a lot of people thinking that rank 1 is
Elite?
more
Yeah, I
meaningful
wouldn't
than it
say
actually.
that you can't get wrecked by a lower rank killer by any means, but when I do experience the rank reset, I do feel like the games are a lot softer.
Absolutely. There's you go against more people.
Yeah. The pools are bigger on rank reset day. Rank reset is actually tomorrow, I believe.
That's right.
Yeah. So we'll be seeing that. And yeah.
I was thinking, like, with the whole
So you get to go to
matchmaking
rank
thing,
10
like,
for
what if?
free.
Oh my
Well, I was trying to stay rank 1. I wanted to,
God.
not
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about the drama so much in my chat. I actually expected more people to, come into my chat and, say, make shots at me or something like that. I didn't get a single person doing that yesterday. And
Mhm.
I don't know, I had like 2,000 viewers average, and I streamed for about 7 hours, and nobody said anything. Usually, like, I mean, I can't go a whole stream without someone taking a shot at me, and no one said anything. And if anything, I felt like I saw a lot of people go, "Hey, I heard about you because of this whole thing, and I'm here to watch you." Like, it felt like it did nothing but, like, help my stream, I guess.
Right.
You and many others. Like I was saying to King, I said, do we even need to record this? I said maybe this could just be
Yeah.
a private conversation. Like we could make the argument that enough people have capitalized on this situation
Oh,
enough.
yeah.
Like it. We've had past community dramas that people have used for clicks and views to the fan base,
Yeah.
and the fan base just looks on at our train wreck with their mouths wide open. And like as far as I'm concerned, this is the last that I'll be saying about it. Like
Yeah, this is
Same.
I think we got both sides of the arguments and like the head of both sides of the arguments, and it shows that we can come to a compromise being civil and not like throwing shots at each other and like letting all hell loose, So
Yeah, and
hopefully
that's the
this
problem with
message.
like doing like podcasts, I think, with Twitch chats and things like that, because it's just a bunch of communities attacking.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And it's not healthy when you
No.
have communities going at each other. At the end of the day, we all just love the game, right? And we should
Yeah,
just be able
Yeah.
to come
absolutely.
together, and hopefully, behavior can figure out something that will make the problems that were identified easier for you, and give us some incentives to stay at rank 1. I don't know. Like we came up
Yeah.
with a lot of ideas
That's
through
what
both
I
of the
was
streams, right?
saying.
So
I was asking about ranks 1 through 8 because it was like, what if they just widened like the pool of players that you could play against?
yeah,
like
widen the ranks a little bit was one of the ideas we talked about.
yeah,
which
like
I would
red
be on
rank
board
and
with
purple
that.
ranks being able to go against each other, and then like purple and green, and just like
Yeah.
instead of like trying to put us like only against red ranks, and if you are red rank, and only against purple ranks if you're purple rank. Like, I don't know, just maybe red can go against purple, purple can go against green and red, and so on. Like, I think that would help a lot.
I do
But people
genuinely
don't like
think
that.
something will come out of this.
Yes.
I mean, I'm
Definitely.
hopeful that behavior will be like, okay, we need to tweak something here, and I think something will come from this. So as much as you've taken some backlash for this, maybe for the greater good, it'll help improve the game for all of us.
All I wanted was like a healthy talk to talk about solutions for this stuff, and so I'm glad that we did this today.
Me too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Tofu's podcast absolutely should have involved you guys. It absolutely should have. It did. Like, I was sitting there thinking like, can't really argue anything here because I disagree with
Yeah.
everything. So I don't know.
But,
I I wanted to be there for your podcast, but
yeah, I
and I think the other reason why people that are my friends didn't want to be there is just because of one person. It's like, I don't know. Wait, I don't have the energy.
I get it. Some people are more vocally stronger than others and have strong opinions. I get it. I get the understanding, but I'm glad that you came out and you spoke on your behalf, because there's a lot of people that speak on your behalf, and sometimes it's not the same message you're trying to spread. So
Yeah,
I'm happy you
exactly.
did
I
this.
don't want my community going around and saying things about me and to people that I don't agree with, and it happens. It happens to everybody that streams. Like, there are people that are going to, like, I saw people going back and forth on Twitter about me, trying to defend me and stuff, and saying that that I do it for different reasons. I'm like, do you even watch me? I just like I can't get behind this argument at all. I would just like mute the conversation.
But yeah, I think what needed to be said has been said. And any closing remarks from either of you guys?
I think the last I'll speak of it is after I talk to behavior after the weekend, and I might post a little something in regards to all this, and that will probably be the last I.
Yeah,
Paulie?
same. Like I'm more than satisfied. Like I said, I don't have anything against you, Jen. I just wanted to see reform of the action. That was it.
I understand. I'm not upset with you in the slightest, and I'm glad to hear that there's no like. I didn't feel like there was any ill will, but I'm glad that we cleared.
Having said that, I completely understand if Scott decides he wants to mori me every time he sees me. I'm fully expecting it.
He doesn't dislike you either.
All right.
Alrighty, but I think that's gonna end it off here and close it out. Thank you again to Jen for coming out, defending your name, defending your honor, and having this good discussion with us. And Paulie, thank you as well for coming out.
Well, I'm
It was
glad you
good.
put this
Great
together
discussion.
because, you know, like like you said, we're both fog whisperers. We should be able to come together and have this conversation. And like I said things about you, and I wanted you to be able to come back to me if you had any questions about what I said or why I said it. And I just really am happy that we were able to do this and clear the air. And, you know, I look forward to having healthy dialogues with you in the future whenever possible.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, it sucks you guys had to meet this way, but there you go. You see, I'm making people meet. Fog
I've
Whisperers
always
finally
thought.
meet.
I mean, I've watched him before. I've always thought he was wholesome and more
Yeah.
behaved than me for sure. So I respect you.
Well, thanks.
All
I
right,
respect you too.
This is great, guys. Thank you both for coming out, and
Thanks for
see you guys
having
in
me.
a bit.
You guys have a good night.
You too.
Take care. Thank you.